The Seattle Seahawks are in a bit of a transition period right now at the wide receiver position. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are out. JSN and Cooper Kupp are your mainstays in the receiver room. JSN has done very well for the Seahawks in the past 2 seasons, but both of those guys are predominantly doing their damage from the slot, and the Seattle Seahawks need somebody to emerge on the boundary. Enter Colorado State rookie Tory Horton. 2 seasons of 1,100-plus yards and 8 touchdowns with the Rams, and in his final 3 seasons, he had over 2.7 yards per route run. So the metrics and the production look very, very good for Horton. And when you turn on the film, you see a player who, long strider, plenty of speed, right? The size to play on the boundary. He has a nice level of twitch to his game where he can make people miss in space if need be, right? Colorado State gave him a lot of different routes to run throughout his career. He has impressive body control. He can play through contact, right? And you get to see on the screen here him doing some impressive stuff against higher levels of competition, right? Michigan and Texas. So let's take a look at the first preseason game and highlight some things that show that Tory Horton may be moving up the depth chart and maybe could be a week 1 starter. All right, guys, so let's dive into the film and take a look at Tory Horton's first preseason game here against the Raiders. I think this is something you're going to see a lot from Seattle, right, with the Clint Kubiak offense, and this is where you could maybe get away with guys like Cooper Kupp and JSN playing quote-unquote boundary receiver, right? Super condensed formation, and so you get those free releases, right? Teams are not going to, creep up to the line of scrimmage because then you can run some mesh stuff and you've got defenders running into each other. So it could work in that way, but I think Tory Horton has showed that, with his vertical presence, something that Kupp and JSN really don't have, that he's going to be able to get corners to retreat, right? Flip the hips like that and be able to open up these big plays over the middle of the field. Like you see there, and then here, same thing, right? Play action from a condensed set, and then Horton does a really nice job stemming at the corner, right? Giving the illusion of what am I going to do? Running a deep post? Am I running an out route? Am I running, a dig route over the middle? And good body language on top of it, right? And again, the ability to kind of maintain that speed as he's in that transition point at, on a dig route like that through the break. And then you see what you kind of saw in the intro a little bit of how slippery he can be and what he can do with the ball in his hands. Here, just good awareness, one, of identifying where the defender is, knowing where you're at relative to the defense, and then getting that plant foot down. He gets the plant foot down, good catch to attack transition, and you can make the first defender miss in this league. And the same goes for a touchdown like this, where maybe this is trap coverage right from the corner, or he's just recognizing the throw's being made. But either way, Horton gets the foot down as the ball arrives, allowing him to explode upfield and leave the 2 defenders, colliding. And then obviously throwing in the spin move for good measure to score. Now here, one of my favorites where you got an outside leverage corner. Horton does a good job kind of stemming at him, but really is going to show the chops as a boundary receiver here is, one, he's going to throw a little bit of the rocker right at the top, but good hand usage right here to clear that outside shoulder, work through contact, stay balanced through that contact, and then make a tough catch through contact near the sideline while also getting both feet down. I think this is a really, really good rep from him. It shows you that this is somebody who even kind of, we kind of talked about the size and the frame. He has it to play on the boundary, but he is a little skinnier for a guy that size. But to be able to play through contact like that, really, really important. And again, that vertical presence, right? When he can get upfield, get the corner on the back hip, and then kind of sink the hips. He does slip a little bit, but when you can sink the hips and get out of a break that quickly, you're going to create that type of separation there. And Horton does a really nice job. Now, there are certainly things to clean up, right? This is probably one of them that you look back and you go, okay, just got to clean this up. And again, he's a rookie, so it's not unexpected. But once you get to the break point here on this, you have got to be tight down the line. Drew Lock expects him to be tight down the line, and what you're going to see Horton do is drift a little bit towards the end zone, right? See him drifting. He's not sharpening that cut, working even back to the football, not even, right? He's drifting downfield, and that leads to an interception. So certainly stuff to work on, but there's so many positives from Tory Horton when you hear it from camp, when you see his first preseason game, and with the Seahawks looking for that boundary receiver, Tory Horton can definitely do that. So hope you guys enjoyed this little preseason film on Tory Horton. If you did, throw a like down there, subscribe if you're new. plenty more preseason and other content loading up here before the season starts. I will catch you guys in the next video. Farewell.